Okay, thank you. Now, our next speaker is Kelly Springer, I guess somewhat of a celebrity. So we're normally talking about growing nuts, but you know, if we're successful and we grow them, now what do we do with them? And well, hopefully we eat them, and now we're going to find out the benefits of eating nuts. Take it away, Kelly.
Hello, everyone. How are you? All right, so how many people live in the state of New York? Okay, quite a bit. Well, I'm very fortunate that I live only 30 minutes from here. And thank goodness, because we just got this presentation fully together for you. How about that? So, and after this presentation today, if anyone would like a copy of this, feel free to reach out to me. I have some information here as well. So if you are from the state of New York or East Coast, you probably know of a little store called Wegmans. Do you guys know of Wegmans? So my career really had a jumping off point when I was the dietitian for Wegmans. And we'll be getting through some of the information, but back in the day, I was connected to Kind Bars. They were actually my first interaction with dealing with nuts. And we're going to talk about that as we go through today's presentation. So, Kelly's Choice. That is the name of my company. It was started 12 years ago, and we truly empower people to live their best lives. At Kelly's Choice, we have, as you just saw, we do workplace wellness. So we are now in companies across the United States helping them to get access to nutrition education. And a big part of it is doing Teaching Tuesdays, where we're able to give your information to thousands of people nationwide about the health benefits of nuts and different nutrition across the country. So you can go to the next one. All right, so there's been a big history around nuts, and it's very interesting as a dietitian because they're considered to be a fruit, first of all. And when I first started in nutrition in 1997, nuts were deemed in the red category. So if we're thinking that green, yellow, red, they were deemed to be in the red category, which is today so offensive, right, to everyone sitting here. And they were being written off as too high in fat, and that fat was bad. If anyone remembers back to the Oprah special of how much weight she lost, and she brought out an entire wagon of fat, does anyone remember? Raise your hand if you do. Remember that special? In the 90s, all fat was bad. How many people had fat-free things in their refrigerator? How many of you still do? No, I know. So it's still out there. And so we have to do a lot of education around fat and the benefits of fat. But unfortunately, nuts got thrown into that category. And so we have taken decades to pull that out. So let's go through to the next. So the health benefits of nuts are just unbelievable. And from doing everything from reducing inflammation when we talk about chronic disease, of how nuts can bring in, and we're going to be getting into the nutrition of it, the fiber, the nutrients, the vitamins, and they truly can bring down inflammation. How? How do they bring down inflammation? Well, in the body, when we eat whole foods that contain all the nutrients and vitamins and fiber that our body needs, it fuels the cell, it helps build that barrier in our gut, which truly can prevent viruses, bacteria, and also things like gluten seeping through, which causes inflammation. Plus, the fat benefit and also protein help stabilize blood sugar levels, which also helps fight inflammation. Huge piece. Also, may help reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke. Just in the past 2 years, I've been a part of the American Heart Association. And again, really fighting for nuts to be a part of the diet because of their ability to lower the risk of heart disease. And this is because it can actually raise HDL, we call them the happy ones, and lower LDL, the lousy ones, okay? So how does this work? And this is a huge education piece that a lot of Americans don't understand, because they'll go to the doctor and they'll get these readings of LDL or HDL, but no one ever explains why that is. So happy, and why we call them happy, is because when you eat fiber-rich sources like nuts, it actually triggers the liver to produce these like little, I'm going to call them boats, which go and pick up the bad cholesterol in the body and recycle it back. So that's what HDLs are. They are basically a boat that goes and picks up all the bad stuff and brings it back to the liver to be recycled. The LDL is when you don't have fiber-rich sources and you just have simple carbohydrates. Those boats go out to the blood vessels and they dump off. And that's how you get heart disease and also stroke. Anyone in this room ever been explained of what those two things are? Okay, a handful of people, okay? So this is where the education around how nuts can truly prevent heart disease needs to be out there more. And then we get into the blood sugar and blood pressure. Again, big part of our chronic disease, of how simple sugars are coming into the American diet. And by having nuts, it's going to give you that protein source and fat to stabilize those blood sugar levels. Plus, very low in carbohydrate sources, and they are not going to spike blood sugar levels. All right. So getting into those benefits of nuts, like I said, high in fat, low in carbs, great source of nutrients. And I want to talk about vitamin E, magnesium, and selenium. These are missing nutrients in the American diet, and nuts have them. They're incredible. So in my refrigerator every day, I have my 2 Brazil nuts that give me my amazing selenium. I have my vitamin, who's here for Brazil nuts because they really are delicious. Oh, there's like 3 people. Yay! And then also, nuts are perfectly packaged with the fat source with vitamin E. So when we're, as dietitians, we talk about fat-soluble vitamins. Again, the education needs to be there that you have to have a fat source to absorb vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin A into that diet. Okay, so it's very important that they're perfectly packaged to give you the right amount of fat to absorb those fat-soluble vitamins. So that's another huge part that we do. And nuts are a great source of plant-based protein, absolutely delicious. We were just talking this morning, they said, we're going to talk about black walnuts in a minute, and I'm like, it's a great source of protein. And so this is a way that we can bump up on that protein source. It's great because we work with athletes a lot as well, and so being able to give them that fat source and protein is so important. Antioxidants. The word antioxidant is used the same way HDL, LDL. We use these words that no one really knows what they are. All right, nuts are loaded with antioxidants, and antioxidants help to neutralize free radicals. Those are all big words. Basically, free radicals are caused by, could be the inflammation, eating that poor diet full of simple carbohydrates, also breathing air, and stress. How many of you might have a little stress in your life? If you don't, I'll come over to your house tonight. We'll have a great celebration. It'll be amazing. So these things can actually promote these free radicals. Now, free radicals are these really crazy things in our bodies that cause havoc. They are missing an electron, which makes them unstable forces, which knocks into our cells, causing major cell damage and can lead to chronic disease. When you eat nuts, it can come in, give those free radicals the missing electron, and neutralize them. So when they say that eating nuts can truly prevent your risk of heart disease, diabetes, cell damage, that's exactly how. It's pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. So that's where those antioxidants are so important for our anti-inflammatory properties. And then the nuts are high in fiber. So just so you know, as a dietitian, fiber is my favorite F word. And I love talking about fiber. I know, I had to get you laughing. Nutrition should be fun. But fiber is something, if I can get people to eat more fiber-rich sources, we truly can help to build that gut bacteria. So let me break that down a little bit for you. In our digestive tracts, we have about 30 feet of digestive tract. All right, and I know this because my husband is a surgeon and corrected me on a live webinar about how long our digestive tracts really are. So if you think about 30 feet and how tall you are, there's a lot balled up inside of you, correct? So over that 30 feet of digestive tract, we have about 100 trillion bacterial cells that live there. 100 trillion. We are 10 times more bacterial cells than we are human cells. Well, what do those gut bacteria use for fuel? Fiber. You kind of guessed it, right? Okay. So fiber. So by eating fiber-rich foods, they are the prebiotic to the probiotic. The fiber-rich sources help feed your gut bacteria. Plus the protein and nutrients and vitamins that you're getting create that gut barrier to create basically a home for these gut bacteria to live in. So can you see now how important nuts are as a dietitian? From fiber to antioxidants to nutrients and vitamins, they do so much to feed our bodies and our cells. Plus, with having those probiotics, those live cultures, having that fiber-rich food, guess what? 90% of your serotonin or happiness transmitter is made by that gut bacteria, by eating fiber-rich sources. So when they correlate mental health and nutrition, nuts are top on the list. All right, so we have our mixed nuts because I'm not gonna leave any of you out. We can incorporate you all. I'm a big fan of mixed nuts because all different varieties of nuts are going to have different nutrients, vitamins, and having them in moderation and also in variation is going to help our people stay on track, getting nuts in every day. Okay, so you can see all the nutrients and vitamins from fiber, vitamin E, magnesium, phosphorus, copper, magnesium, and selenium, and manganese. These are all amazing, plus our protein and needed fats in our diet. So this is putting it all together to show you how many nutrients that we're going to be getting by eating this mixture of nuts. As you can see there, all those amazing nuts. All right, so versatility and availability. As dietitians, we love nuts because they can be used in so many different ways. They can be used as nut butters, in recipes, on top of salads, to add that extra crunch. They can be used in so many different ways that's going to bump up nutrition on any recipe that we put together. And so as you can see, lots of different ways, also in sauces, in milks, there's lots of different ways to be able to use them. There's a wide variety of options, salted, unsalted, seasoned or plain, raw or roasted, so many different ways to enjoy them. And keeping them at room temperature makes them ideal for snacks and traveling. And like I said, I keep my macadamia in the refrigerator. So you can go to the next. All right, so now I'm gonna get into the fun part. As a media dietitian, so at Kelly's Choice, we have three sides of our business. We have our workplace wellness, as you saw from the very first slide that we put up there. We also do private practice, so our dietitians, we have 50 dietitians across the US that work with medical nutrition therapy. And for the first time ever, just so you all know, insurance covers our service. Did you know that? So any of your employees out there, if you're around or you want to see a dietitian, for the first time ever, United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, all of those cover nutrition. It's amazing. So anyway, reach out to us if you want that. But the third side of our business is the most fun side. I get to do TV. I get to do blogs and all these really fun things. So just last week I was on Atlanta TV. This week I'm in DC. I get to speak all over. I've gotten to do Good Morning America. It's like really amazing of how fun it is to be able to promote products and also do education for our entire country. So in the way of how we can promote nuts through social media, blog posts, television shows, conferences, sampling, so many ways that we have been able to work with the nut industry. Like I said, we started with Kind Bars, moved in with Seton Farms, Hammonds, lots of ways that I'm going to show you just that. So you can go to the next. All right, so I'm in Arizona 14 years ago at the retailers convention, so because I was a Wegmans dietitian, and we were climbing this mountain. And this really cute girl was at the top serving us Kind Bars. And I was like, hey, let's be friends. And so we became friends instantly because that's what girls do. And so she said, and the girls were all laughing, but it's true, right? So we became friends and she said, you should do TV. And I said, what does doing TV mean? And she said, jump in the pool, this girl right there, she does it in California, and you can do this. So Kind Bars were my very first product. And during that time, Kind Bars were being sued because their label said that they were unhealthy. Unhealthy. Well, according to the guidelines from the FDA, there was too much fat in the Kind Bar, so they couldn't have that label. Well, guess what? Dietitians came behind Kind Bars, went and fought the FDA, and we won. We got the guidelines changed because we knew how important nuts were and the nutrition benefits behind the nuts. So this all happened in 2015, that dietitians were able to work with Kind, go to the FDA, and change the guidelines. Did anyone know that? Isn't that pretty impressive? So this is the very first product that I was able to promote. It was really awesome to get me on TV, understanding how dietitians can work with brands. And still today, I have an amazing relationship with Kind. I've been to their really cool facility in New York City. And so this is where I'm understanding how we can work together and we can advance. Okay, and the next was Sutton Farms. So I was lucky to go out to Natural Food Expo West and meet Sutton Farms. A colleague of mine, she's amazing. She introduced me to this amazing family owned company. And I've had a decade relationship with this company, helping them promote their pistachios, their cashews, the different types of nuts that they're getting out. And amazing enough, they send me this giant box, perfect. They send me a giant box of nuts every single year for Christmas so I can share them with all of my friends and family. So my friends all know this and they wait until this box comes so that they can steal all the chocolate pistachios. That's everyone's favorite. And so I've been able to work with them to promote them on TV, through blog work, a lot of different ways that we've been able to bring to light the amazing nutrition behind the pistachio and also the cashews. All right, lastly, so I went back to Expo West and I see this booth and it says Hammond's and there's black walnuts. And I am from Central New York. I used to go up to Henderson Harbor, which is just about an hour north of here, and we used to chuck the black walnuts at each other because I have 3 older brothers. And so I would have to duck to not get nailed by a black walnut, and I never knew you could eat them. Never. So when I see this booth, I'm like, wait a minute, you can eat those things? And they're like, yes, ma'am, you can. We're from Missouri, and would you like to work with us? And I was like, yes, this is incredible. So with understanding the flavor of black walnuts, the nutrients behind black walnuts, it was such an amazing relationship of how we were able to bring to light these products. And we were able to show Hammond's of how many sales we were able to have in the state of New York because no one knew you could eat them. And so I just think that this is where nut growers working with registered dietitians to get this word out, to understand the nutrient benefits, the ways that you can use them in all these different recipes, from our books to we've brought them to probably 7 different conferences. Just this year we brought them to Fancy, which is our food and nutrition expo. There's 6,000 dietitians there that we were able to teach about what black walnuts are and the protein value and the nutrient value and how many people we were able to truly educate. So it's been just an amazing relationship with these companies and how we've been able to grow them both financially and getting products sold, but also bringing awareness to them. So we have put together so many amazing recipes, used them over this past decade, and also we have our brand new book coming out next month that we're able to highlight nuts and the benefits of nuts, and having an entire fat section that explains the benefit of fat and the benefits of protein as well. So in summary, there's so many health benefits that we need to bring to light to the American public to teach them about why you would have nuts, how good they are for you. We can definitely incorporate them into breakfast, lunch, dinner, and more, really bringing that nutrition way up, and also being able to do media and exposure for you as well. So if you want any information, and you can go to the next slide, if you want any information at all, you can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We would love to be able to work with you. I hope you can see how passionate I am about nuts and how much they can truly help our diets and keep us healthier. So I appreciate you in attendance today and being able to be here. And thank you for also our switching our PowerPoints up. And I'm open to any questions you may have as well. So I'll leave these last 5 minutes to open it up to questions. Yes?
2 questions. How does roasting affect the fats in the nuts compared to raw nuts, you know, as far as your nutrition? And are you concerned at all about most of the nuts being raised in California on glyphosate, herbicide, and tortures?
That's a problem. So just last night I saw someone saying call this person if you've had leukemia or this, that, whatever. We need to change things up. And I am, as you can see, very proactive. I just joined our New York State Dietetic Association board. I am a part of NICS codes and federal government. I'm willing to speak. So if any of you need a speaker on that nutrition side of how things are affecting our bodies and things that are in our food supply that shouldn't be, let me know. But roasting just makes them taste better. So I love roasted nuts, and it really does not affect that greatly of the nutrition value. Does that help?
Affects the shelf life.
Affects the shelf life. Yes.
I noticed you say nuts, but you're often thinking of tree nuts. So what about other non-tree nuts? Is that included when you're talking about?
Of course, we can include peanuts. They're in there. We love them. No, no. I am accepting of all. Okay, come one, come all. What other questions do you have? Yes.
So some nut products being developed now are kind of novel, and departments of agriculture just are not familiar with them. I wonder if your team has experience with or works with other groups that have experience helping these government agencies understand the products, the safe processes involved, and all of that. Thinking what you did with Kind Bar.
So dietitians, we now have a pretty big voice, and we're binding together more than we ever have. So just so you know, dietitians in the past were mostly in clinical and long-term care. For the first time ever, because of insurance reimbursement and because of our need in the community, there's a lot more dietitians like me. Like I said, we have 50 dietitians. We're growing to probably 100 within 2 months. And so we're here to support you, be there, be a voice, and to be able to be nationwide. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, you have a question?
Do you have any info on the nutritional benefits of the Chinese chestnut?
No, but I can find it. Yes. Let me just connect with me.
Okay.
Yes.